My name is Matt Nolan. I graduated from Reeths-Puffer High School in 1999, but more importantly, I marched in the Reeths-Puffer High School Marching Band from the fall of 1995 through the fall of 1998. I was a trombone player for those first two shows, and in 1997 and 1998, I was honored to be the drum major of the marching band. I am so excited that you get to watch this film in our eyes. This is an ability to see inside the lessons that the kids are learning from this program that we are taking to then be out in the world as citizens, both as musicians and as non-musicians, just as members of our community, and how that makes all of us stronger and better. This is an incredible documentary, and I look forward to talking to many of you after you see it and being able to reconnect over it as well.
You need to go as far as you can. In life, if you're gonna go after something, you gotta want it. Bands or playing an instrument, singing, it's one of the few things in life that actually tells you need to be perfect.
I'm getting chills again. When the flag goes and you take those first steps and the drums start going and the audience start cheering, it is an adrenaline high.
In the last 20 years, we've either been first or second in the state every year.
Two things, it's attitude and it's effort. Now, I need you to go farther.
But these kids are here because they want to be here to put in the long hours.
You know, did we win a trophy? Did we da-da-da-da-da? Did you go out, do your best? Did you have fun? You know, that's what I wanted to take away from it.
You gotta want it. Whose time is it?
My time!
Using the adrenaline, using that energy in a positive and focused way to just be at your A game, there's nothing quite like it.
The students that participate in marching band historically have been top-notch kids.
Be seen, be heard. It's time for you to believe and to know that you belong.
Okay, so new plan, find moments to create dynamic contrast. Okay, so maybe we go dee da dee da da dee da dee da 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 dee. Did you hear it? Right? Dee da 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 dee da da dee da da dee da. Okay, find ways to, in moments to find that dynamic contrast, but leave your dynamic up. Does that make sense? Okay, be musical but be loud. Here we go again, please. Set on your own. Entrance, especially in this space, right, where it's just us, I would rather have an entrance in the wrong spot that's confident than an entrance in the right spot that I can't hear. Does that make sense?
Yep, turn your belt over to your right just a little bit more. Yep, right there. Reset last time. Same instructions. Set.
Same instructions.
Up, up, up. If you've got that rhythm, that is unclear. That is unclear, your first two eighth notes. We got to put some space there. Last time, here we go, standing by. Bands or playing an instrument, singing, it's one of the few things in life that actually tells you you need to be perfect.
Reeths-Puffer has a reputation of excellence. You know, you walk in that building and people know who you are, and there's a standard to be upheld. And so the kids are aware of that. And we rehearse in such a way where we are going in that room and we are going to be excellent.
1990, the fall of 90, was the first experience that I had here. And I was kind of charged with maintaining the excellence that had been there for a long while in the concert program and developing the marching band to be on par with some of the best programs in the area. And my mission was to make it the best in the state and the nation.
I think when you think about marching band in comparison to concert band or wind ensemble or jazz band even, it's more of the execution of movement along with musicality. And so you have both of those things working in a jazz band or in a concert band. You're playing music and you're planning to play great music with great musicality, with good dynamics and good articulation. But in marching band, you have to move while you're doing that.
When you're a toddler, when you're tiny, your parents teach you how to walk. We have to train these kids to understand each little part of their body. We're reteaching them how to walk in marching.
Flips.
When they step into marching band world, they've got to understand that each body part has to be doing it the exact same way as the person next to them. That's tough. Like, we're reteaching them how to move just from point A to point B. We got to hit a little bit of everything as far as like movements. We don't have a lot of time because the class period goes by so fast. So I got to pick 2 or 3 minor things to kind of work on. And then since the closer is new, I can spend a little bit more time on that. And then we got to do a run of like the show, because now that they know the show, it's a matter of like building some endurance to make it for the whole amount of time with the same amount of energy. So got to take advantage of the weather too, because in a couple weeks, I'm going to question teaching marching band in Michigan. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Okay, so euphonium 4. I don't want you going around that way. You're going to have to come back. You can't shoot out like that with the rest of the group like coming backwards. Okay, here we go, and we're set. 12 counts last time, doctor. Check and adjust on your own. T11. Yeah, we got to work on that backwards technique. Everybody around you is really extended, and because you're using so much knee, like you look like you're riding a bicycle backwards. Okay, you got to swing from the hip. You can't stick out like that. Judges are going to scan the field. They're going to pick out like 8 or 9 folks and just kind of watch them and look for consistencies or inconsistencies, and you don't want to be that inconsistency. Very good. Stop on that +1, please. Stop on that +1. Yes, that's starting to work out better. Can you take that motion again just a little faster? I need everybody. I need you to be more aggressive coming out of the last lunge. Okay? You've done the circle, like you're coming back this way, like push off, really aggressive to come in that next direction after that move. All right? But I need that to actually match the flags, and it's a little bit behind where the flags are going right now. Catching up, like going faster, that's going to help us catch up to the flags. Same thing, go back 1 second.
I've always pushed the arts. I've always pushed sports. I want on-ramps for all kids. Not every kid's going to be an athlete. Not every kid wants to be in band. But kids should be doing something. And what we're exposing them to is something that's great.
Some of the most hardworking kids that you will ever meet. Like, they are dedicated, and it's not just the dedication, it's the passion. Like, they love being here. They love picking up their instruments. They love sharing their art. You know, they love sharing their talent. Like, I tell them all the time, like, I'm amazed at what you guys can do. Like, I cannot play an instrument. And there's absolutely no way I would be able to walk and play an instrument at the same time.
Put together formations and drill and music. And I know a lot of bands that can march their spots, but then they sound lackluster. Their music doesn't sound as good. Or you have a band that the music sounds great and they can't march. But putting those two things together, mathematics and music, science, I mean, it's all encompassing. And that's why music students are usually so highly successful in everything.
So I came in at the best possible time. There was a big wave of students coming into the high school that had band from 5th grade for the first time. The sophomores that year were, many of them, better than the seniors because they had more years of band experience than the other classes in the high school. So it was ready to explode when I came. So very fortunate for me. I came in 1990, and we did some things that were different with the marching band that fall. Much more active, more movement on the field, a more contemporary style of marching band. It was well received, and we were off and running.
Adam started out in 5th grade band, always wanted to be a drummer. Mr. Olian tried to get him to play the trombone, but he wasn't having it. So he's always been a drummer. He drums on everything all the time. But yeah, he worked his way through, and in marching band started out on the bass drum for the first 2 years. And he was bass 4, and then moved to snare his junior year. And this year he was center snare, which was a super proud moment for us. And he opened the show this year, and I always get emotional talking about it, but his growth in the band has been amazing. Just very proud.
You're like the heart of the marching band. Like, you have to control time. You know, when I went to the football games when I was elementary, intermediate, I actually always wanted to play the tenor when I saw it, and then I tried picking that thing up. No, not fun. And then Stair kind of came, and it's more of a fit.
Band is so much more than the actual performing. It's watching not only him, but all of these kids. Just, they're goofy 13, 14-year-old kids when they come into band, and watching them transform into these, even each season, into these amazing leaders and performers. And they work so hard. I think they're able to see how their hard work pays off. But yeah, I saw Adam go from this goofy kid on the drum line, growing into wanting to be a leader for those not only coming onto the drum line, but just those coming into the band. And I think he has changed so much since he came in as a freshman to now being a senior.
Yeah, I've had a long-standing philosophy that this organization is not even about music per se. It's about creating great people. And the work that we put in, the process that we put in, the excellence that we expect out of students and help them achieve, I think is something that they can take on into their jobs. And I know of alumni who have come back and they have said that the work ethic that they learned in the marching band is something that propelled them forward in their jobs.
It's great to win, but even if they weren't winning, to be a part of something that's so strong and oriented towards the personal development of the individual, but also of the collective, that's something to be proud of.
Some stuff that marching band has taught me is definitely time management, being able to do things inside, like like tennis, for example. I play tennis. So I'd have to go straight from practice after school, end practice a little early, and show up late to band so that I could get evenly both and be well with both. And then being able to work together as a line and as a band, that like camaraderie where it's one band, one sound, as they said in the movie Drumline. You got to be with everybody else. Not one person can do it, and if one person messes up, we all mess up.
Attitude and effort. On the director side of it, I've got to have a system in place. It's not going to happen by accident. We don't just roll the dice on day to day and decide like, oh, based off the dice, like this is what we're going to do today. Like I have to have like a pretty intense system in place and be organized, and with that system has to come spirit, that has to come like a motivation to be the best version of themselves. You have that system, you have that spirit, you're bound for success. As an individual, as the kid, like they've got to have the attitude, they've got to have the effort. They can have the great attitude, like I love being here, I love doing this, but then the effort could be just, I just love being here, I love doing this. Like I'm not going to put it in like, I'm hot, I'm tired, I'm not going to push through that. You got to have both. Got to have both. But it's going to take patience. It is going to take your dot cards. Yes, make sure you have your dots. All right, and it's going to be taken kind of open to suggestion. You might get told to do some things different. You might get something changed. You might do something like 15 times. Just go with it. The goal is to kind of get through the show with starting at the very beginning, chunk to chunk. All right, the drill writer, Jamie's here. He'll be up on the tower with me. He may say a lot. He may not say that much. But we're getting some reps in uniform, trying to see how things go. Okay? If I need you to move back quicker to a set, I should only say it once. Past that, it should be a sense of urgency. All right? Let's see how much we can get done tonight, how many reps we can get done on any given chunk. Know that we're going to do a lot. If you have to, like, for whatever reason, come out of the set, off the field, you get back in within a minute. Okay? You need tonight. We need tonight. the next 2 weeks, like I said in my post Monday, this sets us up to be seated going into prelims. Okay, we need to be seated high. So this weekend and next weekend, like our score has to like skyrocket. All right, we are the only ones to control us against us. Don't worry about anybody else and we'll be fine, okay? It is 5:13, 2 minutes. You're very close to the beginning of the show. Get what you need, including a quick drink and your Shako. Top of the show, let's go. You say, hi, Jamie. Excellent. We're glad to have him out tonight to give us some insight. He says, hi, band. And fresh pair of eyes, fresh pair of ears. May have something to say here and there. May have a lot to say here and there. We don't know, but it's the first opportunity we've gotten to rehearse with uniforms on. So I think that's going to help things on our end and your end as a performer. Okay, we're going to take advantage of the beautiful weather. There'll be lots of reps. I will give you a break here and there. So just keep pushing through until I say that's the case. We're going to take chunks at a time, either percussion only and or music in motion. All right.
The person on side one just 2 steps out the 45. See how she's kind of is there, sort of inside the curve there.
Who's this?
Not the trumpet.
Hold on just a minute. Yeah, right behind you. No. Yes. Can you move over to your right? Okay, put your horns up for me. Put your horns up for me. Go to second. Yeah. This is how they're. Check. Adjust.
Get their account early or something, so it's just like lock, hold, step. You know what I mean, as opposed to going
right into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just make a note of that.
But yeah, stuff we don't want to do right now.
Yeah. Check. Adjust.
Should be in the same diagonal.
Okay, then we're just a little
Now
fast.
use your head.
Right after the signals, right after the stick click.
How much you need.
Okay, and stand by.
Take more
Don't move.
caution with the eighth note. Before we move.
Band, listen up for a
We're
second.
blowing through the
So this is kind of the first time in the show since the end of the introduction, the first time in the opener where all of the elements have come together. So there has to be this kind of feeling like you lock into this form and you really have to hit us with a lot of visual energy, a lot of, musical energy, and it just kind of feels like this right now. Like, okay, we did that, now we're gonna do 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 that, all right?
close.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Casey and I talked about it, his idea was that, you know, she's sort of searching and she goes up to the pod and she's looking kind of for friendship or acceptance or whatever, and they sort of shun her, you know, and right now, like, there's not really that interaction happening, like, conceptually, and she's just kind of smiling and performing. It looks like she's motivating them. They're supposed to be shunning her away, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And then when she would, you know, it was kind of a far way to travel, but then the woodwinds, there was that little diagonal and the door was supposed to kind of slam closed on her sort of thing. Like, I get if we don't have time for that, but
well,
I feel
and
like
we didn't understand, like we had conversations about that, but it was like, we have her way over here. Why is the door like?
Well, I think she was sort of searching for acceptance over here. It didn't happen. Then she travels over here. She doesn't get it over here either. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So,
Can she make that? Like, she's covering the field.
Well, she can move faster through that stuff, I think, a little bit. But
all right,
I think the most important thing is, like, what are we trying to say? Like, it's not clear to me conceptually what we're trying to say in this tune. She's kind of moving around. If we're talking about seen versus unseen, how are we doing that in this tune?
The show itself this year is very much like the students perceiving their lives. Everybody gets to a point in their life growing up where they want to be seen, they want to be heard. But there are times where you're just lost in the herd and in the masses. And in this show, at the beginning, there are moments where folks are seen, but generally speaking, everybody's wearing the same uniform as far as the winds and percussion are concerned. The color guard is even blending into the atmosphere a little bit with the greens that they have into the field. The music is a little bit more cohesive and similar in the fact that it's you just see groups. There is a soloist that tries to sneak in sounds, and there are times where the students themselves may grab an individual pose as if in that moment in time they're trying to be seen amongst the masses as an individual. When we get to the part of the show where they're actually changing color and becoming more individualized, makes them happier, like they're legitimately smiling and enjoying themselves more. And that's all that anybody wants. Everybody on this planet at some point in time is trying to be seen or heard. They want to make a difference. They want people to see them as someone that stands out. Some of these students, they come and do an activity like this, they don't have anything else. I talked about students that are involved in other activities. For some students, this is all they have. So for that particular student in that part of the show, that is a true moment for them to shine. And for someone in the audience, even if it just takes one person to say, hey, check that kid out. That's all they're looking for. As the show develops and the music becomes a little bit more upbeat and happy and harmonious, so do the kids.
Gets me every time. I mean, there's a part in the first part of the show too where they really hit like a crescendo, like they get really loud in the very first movement, and that usually starts the emotions. I cry every time they perform, especially in competition, but even at rehearsal. But every time I would hear that part in the ballad, it just, I don't know. I think the show this year was really emotional, the seen, unseen part. You know, our kids in the band, I think I get so emotional because as individuals, you could ask any kid, like, who's the best kid in this section or that section? I think they would all tell you who those kids are. They'd probably all say the same kids. But without them being as a whole and bringing all those individuals together, the show would not be what it is. And you know, sometimes kids in band don't feel seen, and this show just brought them like to the forefront, and it was an amazing emotional show.
At the end of the ballad, I tear up every time I hear it. Part of it is I've been around it enough. I'm there every day, and I'm watching him play. I know the amount of hours and time that it took to get to that moment. And that's like the crescendo in the song, and then, you know, the middle of the program, and it's just a really cool moment. The solo ends, the colors come out. It's a really cool moment in time.
So we started planning 3 or 4 years ahead of my retirement so that there could be a smooth transition. All parties were involved with finding the person. We did a national search. We were able to draw Sean Harris from a phenomenal program in Illinois, the O'Fallon program, which is one of the top programs in Bands of America.
I've been here going into my 7th year. Time has gone by pretty quick. I was at a previous school for about 11 years. And before that, I taught down south. Moved around a lot, I guess, my whole life because I started out a military brat. So my father was in the Marines and we jumped around. I've got family pretty much all over the Midwest and South. So anywhere that I called home was really just wherever I had the most family at any given time. I moved to a small town with an Air Force base in Illinois when I was a sophomore in high school, and I moved there from being in Japan for 4 years. At that American institution, that base, there were so many classes that I could take or so many options. So when I came back over, the credits, graduating credits, things like that were a little wonky, a little off. And I moved over as a sophomore in high school and I needed an extra class. At that time, up to that point, I had almost a number of times considered dropping out of school because I didn't think I was good at anything. There was no draw for me to go to school. I had friends, but I didn't see the point. I thought I can go out and get a job and survive in today's world without a college degree. My mom and dad didn't have college degrees. My dad joined the military soon after high school. So I was like, what's the point? I got to Illinois and a small town there. And when I got there, I needed an extra class. And literally the counselors said, well, we'll just stick you in band. And I had never played an instrument before, didn't know anything about reading music. And I was surprised, when I got there, the director looked at me and asked me, what do I play? They hadn't told him any background. And I said, I can't play any instrument. I don't know how to read music. And he said, awesome. Here's a pair of cymbals. All I got to do is I'm going to point at you and you clap those together and then we'll be fine. And that meant something to me, that here's a guy that doesn't know me from anything. I've told him that I don't know anything about what they do or what it's like to be in bands. And he immediately accepted me and gave me purpose. And in a school, after being out of the country for 4 years, allowed me to be somewhere where I felt like I belonged. And watching the inner workings of what it meant to be in bands and lean on other people and have them lean on you, it changed me. I felt like I finally had a reason to go to school and be a part of something.
For me, what I remember from my own experience looking back, I remember, and for me that was more than 5 or 10 years ago, but I remember there's foggy memories of events and there's, holding a trophy here and there, but man, stories, we got funny stories. Do you remember the one time we did this? You remember that one time? You remember that one time, right? And that comes out of the relationships that I have with these people, right? We have these beautiful, funny, inappropriate, stupid stories that we can tell each other of what we did in band and how we came close and how we became better people because we were in band, and we learned how to live and work in community and have these relationships with people and learn how to be leaders, and we learn how to do all these great things. And and music is a lifelong activity. You look at and not to downplay being an athlete, because go do it. It's awesome. But, you can play music until you're 84. You know what I mean? And so to just develop those things, and it's just so much value. And that's what I want the kids to take away from it is, it's more than going and winning a trophy. It's so much more than that. Even this past weekend, the kids were like, what do you think we placed? I said, doesn't matter. Do you care? Well, just trying to keep that in focus. It's what we're doing, even that, standing in the parking lot, having these conversations is more important than, did we win a trophy? Did we Did you go out, do your best? Did you have fun? That's what I wanted to take away from it.
I want them to be the best citizens. So if, they're out and about and you see the best people out there, I want that to be synonymous with a member of the Reeths-Puffer Marching Band. I want people to know that they're a part of the Reeths-Puffer Marching Band by their character and by the way they hold themselves and help others through leadership.
Push your weight. There we go. Motivation and intimidation. You got to go in there with a lot of confidence. You know what you're doing. You've been through it. 4 times so we can count. Eyes are up. Eyes are up. We're going to take 1 step. 1 step. Sit.
1 step. Duck, 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 push, flex.
Yep, don't break that knee. Drive the heel. Swing that leg back and forth for me. There you go. Drive that heel. Toes forward. Drive that heel. Shake it out. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Standing by. Push that weight for me. One step. Set.
1 step. Duck, 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 push, flex.
Yep. Nice job, nice job. Push that heel. Swing that leg back and forth. Swing that leg back and forth.
Duck, 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 push, flex, press 2.
Shake it out. Look this way. Look this way. Hey, have all that energy all the way forward already so you don't rock forward right before you're about to push off. If it's already in the right spot, you don't have to. You just dig in and push. You say push. Okay, it's not rock and push. You say push because the energy's already there. Here we go. Standing by. 2 steps. Set.
2 steps. Duck, 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 push, flex, press 2.
Reset. Let's do it again. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. Mistakes are going to happen. That magic word is recover. You don't have to if the mistake doesn't happen at first. But if you can recover, make it happen. Here we go. Standing by. Push that weight.
2 steps. Duck, 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 push, flex, press 2.
Swing that right leg. Drive that heel. Swing that right leg. Try to have more flex when the leg swings back. That's more difficult. How much can you flex with the leg back behind you? It's a lot easier once it gets in front. It's controlled energy. It's controlled. Okay, I'm clicking and I'm feeling energy push just a little too much. And that can happen when you get hyped up. Okay, you've got the tools to keep you in time on the field. You're watching hands. You've got the battery sometimes. You got to use that. Don't get so hyped that the energy takes you away. Okay, you don't need to speed up. Lock it in with everybody around you. Okay, one more time. Here we go. Get set. Standing by.
2 steps. Duck, 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 push, flex, press 2.
It's going to be new instructions. New instructions. Great. Hands down. Hands down. Okay, 4, 2, 1. Small step. It's going to be a small step. I don't want to take up a lot of space. Just focus on your feet being in time and staying in your line. Feet being in time and staying in your line. Okay, push your weight. Watch towards the middle. 4, 2, 1. Set.
4, 2, 1.
Line up.
Duck, 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 push, flex, 2, 3, 4, roll across, flex, 2, 3, 4, roll across, flex, 2, 3, 4, roll across, flex, 2, 3, roll across, flex, cross, flex, cross, flex, cross, flex, cross, flex, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Don't move, don't move. Check. We're done. This isn't going to take long. Okay, we do this each year. At this point in time, we're coming towards the end of the journey. All right, we still do have one more performance after tonight. All right, but I need you to look around and take it in. This is the largest team in the district. At the same time, it's the one team that is seen by the town, the state, and the country. It's the only one. And you got all these people here supporting you. Regardless of what you have outside of bands, you know that each day you can come to band and like, this is family. These are folks that are gonna take care of you. The first day that I do a spring anything, I get folks together and I have them do this exercise. And you don't have to do it now, but you know what I'm talking about, right? I ask a question. I tell everybody, I need you to stick your hand up as far as you can. And then they do it, just like these folks, yeah. And then I say, all right, now I need you to go farther. And inevitably, like, they're able to go another few inches. Okay, after that, I have to ask somebody, I say, well, what did I ask you to do the first time? Well, you said, stick your hand up as far as you can. And then I say, well, if you did that, then how was anybody able to go any farther? Okay, tonight, you need to go as far as you can. Leave it out, all on the field. You get every day, like, to max it out with the tools, the resources that we give you. We say, hey, you gotta get those feet doing this. You gotta get the body doing this. You have to sound like this. Tonight, it's not about the staff telling you those things. It's all about you. Okay, the most important thing is get out there and, like, take a moment to seize the moment. It's us against us. Nobody else can stop you from what you want to do. Same thing in life. Same thing in life. Our show, Seen Unseen. Everybody at some point in time in life is trying to be seen or heard. That's this show. You have an opportunity tonight to do that without a doubt, because you're last on the date out of the entire state of teams invited to come play today. Be seen. Be heard. Go out there and be somebody.
receiving the gold medal for the score on 89.5, 89.5, the Reeths-Puffer Marching Band.
Right here. Okay. So I gotta apologize first. I tried to think about what I wanted to say all week.
Oh.
And every time I did, like I just got a little choked up. So I do have some notes. Because there's so many things that I want to say. I need you first off to like ask yourself, like now that you're here, you know, whose time is it really? And you need to be able to answer that saying it's my time. Okay. Not staff. Not folks back home. Like it's my time. I want you to say that right now. Say it's my time.
It's my time.
Like there's a ton of groups that are here from around the country, and there's even more that like they can't be here. They can't for whatever reason. Whose time is it?
My time.
In life, if you're gonna go after something, you gotta want it. You gotta want it. Whose time is it?
My time.
It's time for you to believe and to know that you belong. If you don't believe, like, how are the judges supposed to believe? How is the audience supposed to believe that it's your time? Whose time is it?
My time.
If you don't believe, how are your teammates? Like, how's everybody else on the field? Like, how are they supposed to know? Whose time is it?
My time.
We could say that with this performance, whether it's the first or last, it's not about the judges, it's not about the staff, it's about you. Since the spring, for me, it's always been about you. It's an honor to take you on the field in front of the country. Believe. Be amazing. Be seen. Whose time is it?
My time!
I said, whose time is it?
My time!
Marching band has taught me resilience and like be your own person.
I think it has taught me patience in what I'm doing. You have to work at something hard for a long time if you really want to cultivate your skills.
Well, marching band has taught me how to work hard and be disciplined and to lead others in my group.
They taught me how to be a hardworking person and how to put in a lot of time for something, how to become a more hardworking person and have the discipline.
It taught me like teamwork, perseverance, like through pressure.
And marching band has just taught me to like work hard and to like always work as a group.
It's real tight. Everyone really knows each other, even if like you don't get along. We always like find a way to get the job done.
Really just to really focus on something and work through it, and do things even if I don't want to do them.
Marching band has taught me how much teamwork really matters.
Marching band taught me how to work harder. To go along with that, probably just to be able to work harder on other things as well.
I said, whose time is it?
My time!
What's up, Rocket family?
Hi, I'm Rachel Harris.
My name's Sam Johnson, and we're from the class of 2009.
Colby Newford, former
percussionist for the marching band class of 2022.
Hey everyone, my name is Taylor Poole. I am a trumpet player. I graduated in 2024.
Hi, this is Eric Gradle, RP Band's alumni class of 93. I played the mellophone.
Hi, this is Jill Egebrat Wallace, class of 1993.
And what we learned when we were in marching band is to be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable.
I learned from Reeths-Puffer Marching Band that it just takes one spark to ignite something amazing that can last for generations to come.
I'd say one of the biggest lessons that I took away from marching band is that there's no big or small part. You are all a team no matter who plays or performs what in the show.
The biggest life lesson that I've learned was the value of accountability, both personal and within the team. When we're out in the field, everyone has to hold each other accountable, and you have to hold yourselves accountable in order to win championships.
The biggest life lesson that I took away is punctuality. I will always remember Dr. Hodgson saying, to be early is to be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable.
And when you come together and rely on more than just yourself, you can truly create something amazing. And not just on the field, but in life.
The whole really is greater than the sum of the parts. When everybody plays their part, when they work hard, when they listen to each other, when they play together, it makes music that is more beautiful than just that collection of musicians can do by themselves.
The greatest life lesson I received from the Reeths-Puffer Marching Band is probably time management, and the words from Hodgson himself. To be early is to be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable.
Marching band had been the first time in my young life that someone had pushed me to be better than I thought I could be. Good was never enough. We were always working towards greatness. During all those extra rehearsals, I was never all that fond of that extra work, but when we got to the end of the season, I was always really proud of the product that we put on the field. And I also met my wife in the marching band.
What I took away from Reeths-Puffer Marching Band was the sense of teamwork that you got and the importance that every individual contributing to the final outcome.
One of the greatest things I learned from the program is that if you want to be successful in the things that you do in life, it takes a lot of dedication, determination, desire, and persistence.
Music builds community despite everybody coming in with different backgrounds.
No matter how big the setback or fall that you have to experience, you can always get back up.
Moving on isn't about forgetting, it's about carrying the best parts with you.
And one of the most important lessons that I took away from band is to always be present and be in the moment, because we often hear one more time, but that one more time will eventually be our very last time.
Go Rockets!